Hello. Um, every once in a while, I will address a seemingly unrelated topic to finance or to investing, but in some way, whether it's the videos I make about education or the topic I'm going to address today, there's always an indirect correlation or relation to investment success. Today, I'm just going to talk about the gladiator culture of sports. I know that may sound like a totally unrelated topic to investing, but just please bear with me and you'll understand it by the time this video is concluded. For those of you that are movie buffs, I assume most of you have seen Gladiator with Russell Crowe and Joaquin Phoenix. But what I don't know, if you know, is that gladiator games were a tool used by Roman emperors to curry favor among the masses when their popularity was waning. Kind of like how presidents may go to war now to increase their popularity ratings when their popularity is particularly low. Well, back in the day, ancient Roman times, emperors found that staging these elaborate and extremely violent gladiator games would increase their popularity. So, they would use any excuse, whether it was the death of a father that happened 3 months prior, to stage, 10-day, 20-day gladiator games where, thousands of animals and hundreds or even thousands of people may have died during, those very intense times when these gladiator games were staged. Today, I think the modern day equivalent of gladiator games are sports. Emperors used to use gladiator games as a distraction to keep people's minds off important events of the time, say the economy was really poor. And I think sports are used in that same sense. Sports are gladiator games, are used to distract the mentality of the masses away from more important situations that they should be aware of. Like, for example, if you've watched all the videos in these series and hopefully read some of the literature that I refer to in some of my videos, hopefully you have begun to understand, if you haven't already, how fraudulent our current monetary system is, how big of a Ponzi scheme it is, how fractional reserve banking is a scheme, how almost every single banking product is a scam because they're charging interest on money that's created out of thin air that doesn't even exist. So while you would think that this would be a majorly important issue to every single person, since we spend most of our waking hours working for this fiat money that central bankers can so easily devalue and basically rob us of our wealth, instead we have gladiator games to distract us. And as an example of how ludicrous the amount of attention we place on sports as a society, whether it's the World Cup. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being a rabid sports fan. I mean, I follow a lot of sports myself. Because I grew up in Philly, I always follow the Philadelphia Eagles, the Flyers, the Sixers, and whatnot. They will always be my hometown teams. But yet, I think there's a difference between following sports and enjoying sports for what it is, entertainment, and assigning too much of your mental capacity and your time to sports. As an example, two recent examples. I can think of one where there's a baseball umpire. His name was Jim Joyce, I believe. But anyways, there's a Detroit Tigers pitcher that's one out away from a perfect game, and to end the game, the opposing player hit a ground ball, and he should have been out at first base, but Jim Joyce called the runner safe, and so he ruined the pitcher's chance for, I believe it was Galarraga was his name, for a perfect game. Now, out of that fiasco, there are people that are actually insane enough to have threatened the umpire's family's lives. They were threatening the life of this umpire just because he cost this pitcher a perfect game. And that's exactly what it is. It's a game. And yet these are the people that don't care that, basically bankers stole half their money from 2000 to 2008 because the US dollar lost 50% of its value. So, but these people are willing to spend so much energy and time threatening the life of you know, a person that made it the lives of family members of a person that made an innocent mistake in a sports game. Does that make any sense to you? We look at LeBron James, for example. He made this whole production of where he was going to go as a free agent, and 10 million people tune into that. Well, how about if 10 million people take the time to understand our monetary system? So you see my point. My point is not that sports are bad. I'm a sports fan myself, but sports has taken on the role of gladiator games. Gladiator, if I can speak, gladiator games. Took on during ancient Roman times. It's just distraction to keep people away from thinking about the important things. I mean, we're entering the second phase of a monetary crisis that is literally going to wipe out the middle classes of many nations. Yet these middle classes are too involved and too caught up in these modern day gladiator games, worrying about a blown call of the umpire that cost a pitcher a perfect game, that they're not focusing on events that will impact their families' lives. To me, that's a little bit ludicrous. So just my editorial of the day. Okay, thanks for watching.